All right. Hello, everybody. Man, is it hot in here? Hold on. Let me take this off. Uh,
Oh my god.
hey, man. Thank God one of our
Is
teams
that
won
D'Lo?
today.
Is that D'Lo?
That's D'Lo, boy. You know how to get my boy.
D'Lo wasn't even good tonight.
Hey, he won, though. That's all that matters.
He did win. For sure.
Oh man, so yeah, another tough Laker loss here today. Like we're here right after the Lakers blown, not even blown. They just another tough L.
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves Wednesday night. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's your boy G alongside Alec. Another great episode of Section 300. Thank you guys so much for all the love you guys have been showing us. All the love you guys have been showing to our reactions to Winning Time and all the things that we've been doing recently. All our interviews have been doing well also. So definitely appreciate all the love you guys have been showing. Continue to follow us online on IG and TikTok at Section.300. Follow us on Twitter at Section300 Sports. It's your boy G. Find me at Just Say G online everywhere. Find Alec at Lakers Fan 24 everywhere. And yeah, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. So we're back today with a full episode. We've been doing all the reactions, short things, but back with a full episode to talk about all the stuff going on with our Lakers and beyond in the NBA right now. And yeah, let's just start here. Like I just said, we just witnessed our Lakers go down yet again. And it's just been a rough season, man. It's been a real rough season. And they at least fought hard today. I know it started off slow, but they put a little bit of, they tried to put a little effort in as things went forward, but still came up short. What you taking away from that Timberwolves loss that we just witnessed?
Yeah, I think I tweeted out like during the first half that the Lakers like come out flat on both ends of the floor, like almost every game now. It seems like I think the studio crew like broke it down, and they've been like a minus 60 in first quarters over the past 3 games.
Right.
And only have scored like a total of 50 points between the 3 first quarters. So it's been real rough out there watching them play. Defense has been a struggle all season, but now they're like struggling to create offense as well. And it's kind of frustrating to watch. Like I told you that it's frustrating, but it's almost like comical at times watching this team because you know exactly what's about to happen.
I think I tweeted it to you, and I said this is the funniest Lakers season ever. Like, like we reached the point where it's like, okay, this season just in the trash. So we started pushing all agendas and all the stuff that was going on, and just watching this team now. Once we realized that we may not be the team that we had such high hopes for, it's just been comical the whole way through, as you just said. So I've watched a lot of these games and just been laughing the whole way through, or for halfway through it.
Laughing through the pain, kind of
exactly.
thing.
Got to laugh through the pain right now. So it's been rough, but as we go more in depth with it, what did anything stand out to you as you watched this latest game? You already talked about the start of the game.
The bad starts, like immediately putting themselves in a hole. They, as Lakers fans have started to notice too, like they have the almost like fake comeback where they start playing hard and make a run. They took it down to single digits to start the fourth quarter. So I said they're acting like they're gonna win, and you were like, "What did you say?" Because then they started to blow it again. I said, "Keyword acting." We know what's about to happen. They make their like fake little push, and then like clockwork, just start giving up wide open threes. And so that's a major part of it. The defense, as far as attention to detail and like competitive nature, I get, like they're not rotating well. They're not closing out the shooters. They're giving up a lot of wide open looks. They're undersized too, so that's a part of it. And that's part of the roster construction. Like there's so many issues, like we've said, about this Lakers team. You can't point to just one thing. It's a combination of so many. But I was just thinking to myself like earlier, like I haven't enjoyed watching a Laker game since like, I don't know, like last season maybe. The 2020 season for sure when they won the title, but it's been a minute. Like this year, like I'm not like looking forward to Lakers games. I'm just like, how are we gonna figure out how to lose this game?
It's
like
it's been tough to watch as fans. And then as we kind of joked about in our group chat with Matt, who's been on our show a few times now, also teams that used to be walked over by our Lakers squad are now flipping the script and are letting it be known that they're happy that they are getting to be up on this Lakers squad now. So seeing how recently or this last game, seeing how Cat and Pat Beverly were yelling in Bron's face and all that. We've seen what's going on throughout the season with the Grizzlies and other squads. I'm just seeing the flip in the treatment of this squad during their demise this season. That's been, I think, the tough part, if anything, as I've accepted everything else. Just seeing how other teams are letting it be known that, we finally got you guys, and we can finally push back and flex on y'all a bit. So that's been wild to see. And what does that say? If anything, just about the guys we have on this squad. We have guys like LeBron James, who's heralded as one of, if not the GOAT, Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook, who are highly revered. But we have other teams that look at us just like like nothing. Food, literally. So how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I thought that Robert Horry, on the post game on Spectrum, brought up a good point to why it's still been frustrating for this team, because he was saying how people are saying they're not talented enough, but that's not quite the issue, because we're so frustrated because we had higher expectations for them, having LeBron on the team, having AD on the team, having Russ, who's been a star and hasn't played like it this year. Right. So it's almost giving them an easy way out to say oh, this team isn't talented enough, because you have two superstars and a third star potentially on paper. You should have been able to figure out a way to win more games than you have. I think they're 2-9 post All-Star break now, and the 2 games is when LeBron dropped 50 points, so that they're winless when LeBron doesn't score 50 after the All-Star break. So it's frustrating that this team, while they may be top heavy, which points to the roster construction, hasn't been able to figure out how to win more games. You can give them the caveat that AD's been out or LeBron missed time, but AD, it appears, just misses a lot of time regardless of the season. So I can't really give them that. I think you have to, which I think we'll talk about, start making moves towards a better next season, because this season almost is completely in the toilet. I think they will make the play-in, but beyond that, I don't know if they make the playoffs really the way they
if we make the play-in, we're going to end up playing a team, 2 teams that had a number all season, in the Timberwolves, who we just played, and the Clippers, who have been picking on us a little bit these last I think what 6, 7, 8 games. They beat us
4 times this year.
4 times I think it's been, and I think they won the last year, I believe, as well. So they've had our numbers. So it could be a very short postseason for us. So I really like the idea of starting to look to next season. So does that mean you want to see even more minutes from THT and Austin Reeves and Stanley Johnson and things like that, or do you still want to see LeBron chase Kareem?
I don't know if I want to see LeBron chase Kareem. I respect it. I mean, because if I was LeBron, I would also be chasing Kareem.
Understood.
I don't think it's fair to say make fun of him completely, because I think we'd all if we had an opportunity to get that record, be the all-time leading scorer, we would try to get it too. But it's just funny. It's just funny when they're down 20 and he's still in the fourth.
That's the point. I think
it's how you're chasing it.
Right. The problem we're fine with LeBron doing that. It seems like it's inevitable at this point that he's gonna break that record. It's just that the times where it seems like he's forcing it when he's down, when we're down 20 points already and he's still shooting to the last buzzer. That's when all right, bro. You don't gotta do all that. You gonna get your record
tonight. I'm surprised.
I know. He only got 19 tonight. They said it was his first game. He had 30 straight games or something like that, getting at least 20. I was like, what's going on here? Kareem put a call in, said, chill out. What's happening? So, that comes as a surprise.
But to your question, I think they should embrace going to the youth more, which they have kind of had to out of necessity, play Austin Reeves and Stanley Johnson more. But more of that, I think you let LeBron, do what he wants to do at this point. He knows his body the best. So, if he needs to shut it down earlier, if it's looking like we're not even going to make the play-in or something, then fine. But I think you play LeBron, you play you're paying him so much, you play Russ, but I think you dive into Stanley, Reeves, Monk, get away from Ariza hasn't been in the rotation, which is great. Bradley shouldn't be playing anymore either. I don't think.
Right.
Just more minutes for the young guy, Wenyen Gabriel. Like you signed him for a reason, so like embrace playing him more minutes and see what you potentially have for next year. I also think Frank should be gone at this point. Like enough with this team because they clearly, it's like they don't even want to play basketball at times when they're out there. They clearly like have no leader. On the player side, obviously LeBron is the leader, but like they're not responding to anything.
Yeah, they don't get any boost. They get no boost from the coach there. So I agree. Everyone in the Lakers, we heard every spaces, we saw every video. Everyone was saying it. I think it was after the Magic game that was a few weeks ago. When everybody was like, "All right, bro, like enough's enough. Like, why is this team being this way?" So they decided to stick with them, but things haven't changed. So yeah, I agree with you that when we just continue to look for the future and see what we have here and what other guys on the staff can bring life to this team and what other players want to be here and things of that nature. But also to that point, as we talked about young guys that we are looking at, a lot of these guys were brought in just because we didn't have the money to bring in the guys we actually may have wanted, obviously, but just in the sense of we had to scramble sometimes and grab a Wenyen Gabriel. We had to scramble and find
DJ Augustine,
DJ Augustine or Stanley Johnson. So we got to look until next year. With it doesn't seem like there's actually plans for them to be here next year either. So why even?
Well, I think Stanley. I think Stanley. No, I get you. If it's like guys that were only on for like 1 year,
right?
Which I understand. Like Bazemore is one of those guys. He hasn't really been playing.
They were supposed to be future guys anyway.
Ellington gets like sparse minutes. Those are like 1 year guys. But I believe that Stanley has like a 2-year deal of some kind, as well as Wenyen Gabriel.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, seeing what you have in them, I think makes sense. Reeves too, obviously, I believe has more time on his contract. Monk, I think you know what you have, but I don't know if they'll be able to afford him,
right?
Because of his production this year. Like he's probably going to command more money. But yeah, playing the young guys too, also because they're more likely to play harder than like some of these vets that basically got nothing to play for at this point. I mean, credit to Melo because I think Melo tries for the most part when he's out there. He's just like not the greatest defender at this point, but he's still like putting forth effort. But yeah, I think leaning it more into the young guys, that's something Jason Timpf has talked about as far as leaning into the youth. And then I agree with him there. But I think this team, I think we just got to focus on next year at this point, because it's almost insulting now to be like holding out hope for AD turning this around completely.
Right.
Because like we see how poorly they're playing on a night-to-night basis. Like if they're playing hard, like scrapping for every loose ball, like losing like 1-point games or whatever. Like that's
it very much feels like the whole team is just waiting for him to come back rather than setting things up for him to come back properly to make a run. Like it seems like they're just like, okay, we'll do whatever right now, and if we lose, we lose, whatever. But when AD comes back, we'll turn the switch on and we'll find a way and do the play-in tournament and all that and get right, rather than setting things up properly for when he gets back to actually do that. So yeah, they're setting up a rough foundation for AD right now. Yeah. And
that's what they do in games too. Like they try to flip the switch, and it's too late.
You can't flip the script late on. You can't. Yeah, you got to play strong the whole way through, and they have shown that they do not do that. So yeah, it's going to be rough. And even when AD comes back, it's going to may very well be more the same. So yeah, definitely going to be tough as we go forward. We talked about LeBron just a bit in regards to him chasing Kareem. We've talked about him and his legacy and things have gone on with his career and his tenure here with the Lakers. Just going back to the whole point about him chasing Kareem. There's a lot of folks that say once he does that solidifies him as the GOAT. Do you agree?
I mean, I don't think just being the all-time like leading scorer makes you the GOAT. I mean, because pretty much no one refers to Kareem as the GOAT right now. He's worthy of he's worthy of being in the discussion for sure. Like he gets looked over, and he shouldn't be, because he is like top 10 ever to play. But but yeah, like he's not looked at as the GOAT right now, and he is the all-time leading scorer.
Right.
So I think that right there shows you that that alone doesn't make you the GOAT. LeBron has many other accomplishments with that, so I think that's what makes him like in the conversation. It's not just this, but this is like another feather in his cap. More ammo for the Bronsexuals for sure. So yeah, he knows he's got to get that.
Yeah, exactly, and he's gonna get it. It's just funny the way he goes about it sometimes. But also to that point, there are already a lot of the Bronsexuals, as you pointed out, that are already gearing up their takes for when he does it. About talking about how, oh, y'all say he wasn't an elite scorer, but and you say he can't score, but what do you think about? And I think he even responded to it himself on the shop in that discussion. Yeah, he added fuel to that discussion himself. But just from your opinion, what do you think about folks that say LeBron, even if LeBron does
get the all-time record,
does break this all-time record, do you believe that he's not an elite scorer still?
I mean, I think he is an elite scorer. I think the conversation maybe is more about like how he scores his points, kind of because he's like I guess earlier on in his career when he's like more of a just raw brute force Bron,
right?
Like especially in Miami when he was like 280 or whatever, as opposed to like 260 now. Like it was like pure bully ball. It wasn't like pure scoring like the KD, Jordan, Kobe type scoring as far as 3-level scoring, like mid-range, outside, and inside. It was a lot more like brute force, and he wasn't as much of a shooter back then. But I think his game has evolved over time, and he's always been able to put up 30 on any given night. So I think you have to label him as an elite scorer. I just think, and efficiency-wise, like you have to as well too. I just think it's like more so how some of those other guys who I would probably have ahead of him as a pure scorer, like Kobe, Mike, KD, I'd probably have ahead of them there. But he's in the class though. Like,
yeah, I've always viewed him as a supreme. If I know we have had our disputes about LeBron or whatever. I'll go as far if somebody said he was the greatest athlete of all time, I would just sit back and let them get their point off.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I've always looked at him as a supreme athlete that knew how to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
But in regards to a scorer, when it comes to guys like Kobe and KD and other guys you may have mentioned, where somebody had a bag and the craftiness and knew how to do whatever. Again, with
moves and like counter moves,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah. LeBron definitely has some, of course,
for sure.
But it doesn't seem like his bag is nearly as deep as some of those other guys we consider elite.
Oh, you getting into bag talk?
kind of. I guess again, just saying
real hooper bag talk.
I'm not going that far. Again, Section 300 casuals. We just sitting from afar watching. But just saying that it always just seemed like he didn't have that same craftiness as those guys. And I mean, from afar, we've all made the jokes about LeBron and his the fuck you three and his looking at the ball when he's going to shoot the whatever he does to shoot it. Right. So it's not the most creative of things, but it's just stuff that for him works. So because of that, I guess I wouldn't necessarily say. I'll just say, as I said before, I think he's a supreme athlete that knows to put the ball in the basket. But if someone said he was an elite scorer, I could understand they're taking that. So definitely going to be interesting to see how the agendas flip as these records continue to be broken and all that goes forward with him. And definitely going to be interesting to see how the rest of this later season goes on. The last thing are two more things with this. There were, I guess, reports that Phil Jackson has been in the building. I guess Reese gotten a little bit closer to the team as the season has gone on. Is there any desire with you just saying that Vogel is gone for Phil Jackson to the guy that steps in instead?
No. Okay. No. I mean, like, it wouldn't make sense. Like maybe a few years ago, like it makes sense with the personnel as far as like having LeBron, like having that alpha on the team once again. And like he was like the Zen master. He was perfect with those ultimate egos, and those type A type players. But it's just like a few years past him being in that coaching seat.
Understood.
And like we've seen what he's done, like from a front office standpoint after the coaching seat, and that's kind of like it's been like a minor hit to like his legacy in a little bit. So yeah.
And more so to that, while it may be a hit or we kind of forgot it and moved on, something that did stick with me that I was going to say was that when he went to the Knicks, I thought they said that they had maybe wanted him to be the head coach, but he didn't want to like travel as much, or he didn't want to go do all the away games.
He had back problems for like
he had back problems and all that kind of stuff. So if he want to go through that then, and that was what was that? At least 4, 5.
Yeah, at least 5 years ago.
Years ago, I believe. Yeah. I don't think now, as he's gotten older, he's already old then, respectfully. I don't think he's going to want to do that, especially with this team that's going to be struggling. He's going on those trips as well. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. It was just a report I saw, so definitely want to hear your take on it. And then just
him and Kurt Rambis, too. Like, a deeper discussion as far as, like, Jeannie Buss. But just like how things have like been run like of late, it seems like there needs to be a change in philosophy, maybe like how they do things.
Respectfully, sometimes you have to let your legends stay in the rafters.
Yeah, exactly.
Let your legends be legends. Stay over there. Let us revere you from afar.
Give them their courtside seats, whatever. Except for Jerry West.
Thank you. But exactly, except for Jerry West, he's over there now. Whatever. But yeah. Respect your legends, let them stay in the rafters, and let this team move forward and find new voices that can carry this team on and continue the legacy that they laid for us there. So the involvement of Phil Jackson again, possibly the role of the Rambises, I guess, as they've been involved. I think those from afar. I know we're fans in the 300s, whatever. But I think those are some missteps there. So
I think
we'll see how Jeannie rights those wrongs going forward.
I think as the game evolves, less involvement from the Laker legends, I guess, because it's a different era as well too. I mean, some of the rumors we were hearing as far as like Kurt Rambis and giving advice to the coaching staff and stuff and clashing with them philosophy wise, like during the season, like why is Kurt Rambis even having a voice with this? Some changes need to be made in the offseason for sure.
Some changes need to be made in the offseason. We'll see. And realistically, we discussed how things may play out before. But just as a kind of a joking side, I threw this out to you. A few years ago, pre-LeBron, right before LeBron was here, we loved the baby Lakers, and we loved all that, the whole squad with D'Lo and all those guys, and then Lonzo, and then everybody else that was on that squad. Now we're in the team we're on now. Now with there potentially being a rebuild, while it won't be a full rebuild in the sense of moving LeBron and AD, despite our jokes we made earlier in the season, just for jokes, who would you like to see as the next group of baby Lakers? If there's guys you see in the league now that you want to see carry the mantle forward.
Oh, in the league now, so not like draft picks. Okay.
If there are draft picks that you already know of, but obviously, I mean, we don't know the full future yet. We don't know who's going to rise into a star, but just guys we see right now that you would love to see in purple and gold at some point.
Yeah, I think we talked about like DeJounte Murray, kind of a slept on player. I think mainly because he plays for the Spurs, so they don't get a whole lot of play like as far as airtime on national television. You're gonna say something?
Yeah, I was going to say DeJounte is top of the list as well as Jason Tatum. We've joked about both. A whole lot, of course, and we'll love to see him in purple and gold. And he's doing his thing in Boston for a little while. Have fun with that. But I think one day he'd be a perfect fit for our squad. We've already seen him give praises and all the little pictures he's met with and all that kind of stuff. That we think would be a great fit. But beyond that, another guy that I saw was great was who you mentioned, DeJounte. I'm seeing how he still is being underappreciated. Though he is All-Star, he was All-Star this year, still feeling like he's undervalued with what he's doing there. And I believe would be a great successor to what we have on this team now. So, those two are top of the list, and then you can go on from there.
Yeah, I was just going to say with DeJounte, like a star that's like committed to the defensive end as well too, which that is Anthony Davis. He's just had durability problems. But I think that's key. Like if you want to win a title, like your star has to be committed at all times to the defensive end. And LeBron does turn it on like when he feels his team is a contender. But when he doesn't, it's like he's checked out at points, like as a defender. So a young star that like has that mentality of wanting to score, wanting to get people involved, but also wanting to defend. thinking who else along those lines. I guess other guys that haven't gotten like full credit yet is maybe like SGA, like Shea. I think he's a floor raiser, like for teams with his ability to play, make, and score for himself.
And he's very much LA, just in his style and things. If you follow him online, yeah, he'd be a great fit.
He was a Clipper. He was a Clipper.
Of course,
he was a Clipper. Yeah.
So he was out here, and that may be the other side of that. But yeah, I'd love to bring him back and on this side instead. So yeah, definitely see him as a great option there. Other guys, I made this question up just on the spot. But yeah, DeJounte definitely is one. SGA is one. Jason's top of the list.
I guess like I don't love him. I respect his game, but like Devin Booker, I just don't see him leaving the Suns now that they've like become a good team. But that was like some of those like Kobe disciples, like Tatum, but they're like kind of become more solidified with their teams. Like Trey's become more solidified in Atlanta too.
I said Jason DeJounte because I see them as stars like that, Kobe disciple type stuff as well, and also so that they could leave their teams at some point as well. I believe with how things are going, so that's why I didn't mention Devin Booker. I think he's going to be locked in for Phoenix for a long time. Trey's going to be in Atlanta for a long time and things like that. So I think they're set there. But yeah, I definitely think that is the case. And
you think this may be kind of a far shot, but if they continue to flame out in the playoffs, you think about Luka? I feel like he'd definitely fit in LA.
I think he would fit in LA, but I think Mark Cuban won't let that happen. I think
he's gonna make sure he pays him for sure. Yeah, but I feel like he might get tired of losing.
And all that, and he's gonna do it whatever it takes to keep him in Dallas. So just from a hypothetical, yes, to our question, but adding a little bit of realism into it, I don't think Dallas lets him leave, especially coming to us. So yeah, he didn't come to mind in that regard, but obviously he's a superstar in his own right. So we'd love to have him. But yeah, definitely a fun thing. We'd love to hear what folks have to say about that. I don't know why he's not a star, but this name for some reason has popped in my head. Maybe because I saw some TikToks that he was posting recently. But a guy like Miles Turner,
man,
a good defensive guy. I know. His name was just in my head.
I saw that TikTok with his Lego collection.
He was doing.
I saw the Lego collection
recently. He's been in the media for a few things. But just he's a good defensive talent. If we have DeJounte and we have Jason already, having him as a big, I wouldn't be mad at it. But
sure.
That name just came to mind for whatever reason. But yeah, no.
When I saw that TikTok of his Lego collection, I was like, this man gets no play.
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. Yeah, come to LA.
I respect the hobby though.
Come to LA might be a little bit of a wake up call for him. We'll see. I don't know, but yeah, definitely just a fun hypothetical to throw out there and see what you guys have to say. We're now at 30 minutes, and that's all I have to say about the Lakers. Going on the rest of the league.